This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's Friday, August 13th, Friday the 13th, everyone. And it's the Relevant Podcast here in Orlando. I'm your host, Cameron Strang. And joining me from Loverland, Virginia, it's Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
Ooh. From Nashville, Tennessee, artist, producer, mogul, Derek Miner.
Hello.
Yeah, see, there you go. He's in the spirit.
Yeah, I like it.
And actually today, a little housekeeping, Jamie Ivey is on family vacation and we respect healthy work-life balance. So joining us,
Jamie, get back here.
So joining us from Nashville, Relevant senior editor, Tyler Huckabee. Hey, man.
Hey, everybody. Howdy. Ooh.
So you got to bring us the Texas beat today.
Howdy.
By the way, who's going on vacations on Friday the 13th weekend? I'm pretty sure there was a period where 30 to 35% of horror movies started with that premise. Just a weekend away and it happens to be Friday the 13th. If you go on vacation on Friday the 13th, I picture it like a situation like in Us. Like you're just at your little beach cottage, one night and then a doppelganger show up at the door. It's a terrible idea, Jamie. Best of luck to you.
She's out there right now talking to the family, just saying something like, you don't actually believe all that old Friday the 13th junk, do you?
The call's coming from inside the house.
Speaking of Friday the 13th, we have a game coming up at the end of the show themed on this. It's called Dumb Luck. Friday the 13th, Unlucky, Dumb Luck. Can I ask you guys, do you have, I know this is a wholesome Christian podcast, but do you have any like Michael Scott, you're not superstitious, but do you have any little things you do that are I don't really believe it works, but I'm going to do it anyway. You never know. The only one for me is sports related. There's certain items of apparel that I've worn and and the team has not performed the way I would have hoped. So I would not wear that thing the next game. There's a certain jacket that I think is cursed. I'm serious. I think there's this Orlando Magic jacket that every time I've worn it, we've had an egregious loss. A terrible thing has happened. And so I just won't wear that jacket anymore. And I like the jacket. So
because better safe than sorry, right? It's probably not true, but
maybe it's the mojo. It's right there in that peripheral vision. It's a little shiny. Maybe I'm messing with them. So
it's not luck. There could be practical reasons that this works for you.
Yeah.
Tyler, I feel like you broached this point because you strike me as someone who has several little stitions.
I don't think so. I was thinking about it. I don't think I do, other than kind of like you said, there's stuff that I like feeling good today, so I'm gonna wear these shoes. It feels more like a internal thing that motivates me instead of something that I think has any actual impact on the world around. You know what? Does that make sense?
Wait a second. Can you please unpack that? When you're feeling good, you wear a certain shoe?
It's not like I have my good day shirt.
Have your happy shoes?
I think I have happy shoes. Yeah, I think I have happy shoes. There are some days you're tired. Maybe it's early in the week.
You come out of the bedroom and Liz is looking at you. In one shot, she knows how you're feeling today. She's like, "Oh, he's got the happy shoes on." All right.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. She's not. I would have to ask her to double check on that, but I would bet she could tell based on what I've put on any given day. He's in a good mood. Today he's feeling good about today, or Tyler's we're gonna need to take it easy. Give Tyler a wide berth today.
It also helps that Tyler wears a mood ring every morning. And so that's it tips his hand a little.
That's an
Tyler
everyday
seems
thing.
Angry this morning. Yeah.
Derek, do you have any superstitions? You won't do this or
I can't think offhand. I can't think of any. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah, I mean, I always heard don't walk under a ladder and stuff like that. I'm like, well, that makes no sense. I never bought into any of that.
It's kind of hard to walk under a ladder anyway.
You have to go out of your way to walk under the ladder. You know what I mean? Like a fish in a fish tank.
Where do you live that there's just ladders everywhere?
I think carpenters came up with that.
Stay away
They're
from my ladder.
They're on a ladder, and people was like walking by it, and they just started making like, they're like, you know what? I know what we'll do. We'll tell everybody that if they walk under the ladder, it's bad luck. Yeah,
you're gonna die because I'm gonna kill you if you walk through my ladder one more time.
It's bad luck because you're likely going to bump into the ladder and cause someone to be injured. Like it's not like, hey, it's bad luck. It's bad luck to walk out into traffic. I heard that it's really bad luck. You get hit by a car doing it. Like it's like no, that's just maybe we just shouldn't
breaking
go
a
on.
mirror was probably like moms who had like boys, and they were like, you know what?
Yeah.
But tell them it's bad luck if they break my mirror. And it just kind of
the nice living room mirror. Yeah.
Maybe that's the hack with masks. Tell people to go in outside without a face mask. Oh, that's 7 years bad luck right there, my friend.
See, Tyler.
Tempting fate.
Yeah, all you have to do is put a luck spin on because the mirror thing too. It's like, yeah, man, I broke the mirror. I got really unlucky. There were shards of glass everywhere afterwards. It's like, well, yeah, let's just do make the mask thing like a luck thing, and I think more people would be into it.
Dog, you know what's crazy? It's crazy that like you can post anything that's just, it could be reasonable. Like, all right, I need everybody from Relevant to tell me if this is unreasonable for me to say.
Okay.
I just need.
You've
I
had
wanna
quite
know,
the
'cause
week. You've had quite the week on Instagram.
Listen, if this is unreasonable for me to say, then I am so sorry. I apologize.
All right,
but
let's have
I'm
it.
going to read a tweet or a post that I put. And right now we're sitting at, let's see, what are we sitting at on this post? We sitting at 4,000 like
Comments?
we sent out like 200 or 300 comments.
Okay.
But like it's 4,000, it's engaged, like it's really doing crazy. But I said vaccinated or not. So I'm not advocating in either way.
Right.
I just said vaccinated or not. Cut some weight and boost your immune system. That seems to be the common theme with every iteration of this virus. Wear your mask, social distance. We can get through this together. Let's stop arguing and pointing fingers. How in the heck does that make everyone mad? Because I'm like, I have people that are like, you're not going to exercise your way out of this virus. And I'm like, I didn't say that. And then like, there's people that's like, I'm not getting the vaccination. That's the mark of the beast. I'm like, I didn't say to do either one. I just told you to eat a salad and do some push-ups. That's all I said.
Discourse.
And then somebody else was like, are you fat shaming? No.
Oh my gosh.
I just said, guys, we just got to work out.
Here's the problem there. You read the comments. You just got to stop reading the comments.
That's user error.
That's on you.
Reading the comments is user error.
Here's a new one. Here's a new superstition. If you read the comments, 7 years of bad luck. See?
7
But
years
this
of
is the
bad
thing.
luck.
I thought that would be the most uneventful post I have ever made. I was like, this is going to be uneventful.
Can't we all
this
just get
literally
along?
This is just facts. Like they say it's after people whose lungs and immune system are down, different things like that. So I'm like, I'm not saying anything other than, guys, let's just work out and just be healthy, whether you choose to get vaccinated. I'm like, I thought that would be the most uneventful post I have posted in the past 2 years.
Public discourse has gotten volatile. Not just in Instagram comments. When it's like, it's not just Derek's Instagram comments on a relatively innocuous post. People are, really, really sort of weaponizing debate in a weird way right now, where it feels like there is no just normal space to have, a civil dialogue with someone, including a worship event or, a relatively innocuous Instagram post. It's just a weird time for public discourse, especially as Christians.
Yeah.
People weird, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
What you did was you said the word vaccine, and that's it. It triggered all the crazy SEO.
Yeah.
Like they all have the Google alerts. If somebody posts about the vaccine, I'm going to tell them what I think.
That's the relevant business. We say if we want things to engage, you just put some words in there like vaccine that get people like really excited. And then they got to
women in ministry. That's another
vaccines.
one too. Women in ministry.
Women in general.
There's a couple. Hey, numbers are a little down.
Women in ministry is what? Women in ministry.
Women can't.
It's controversial.
That's not the.
There's certain denominations
got all sorts
that
of
don't that there's two tiers of Christians. There's the men, and then the women are a lower tier.
Oh man, they gonna need to watch the Marvel What If shows. They can see Captain Carter. She was a better Captain America than or
Steve
Captain
Rogers,
Britain than Steve Rogers.
She stopped Nazis overnight.
Bro, she had a 9mm. I've never seen Steve Rogers with a 9mm. She was out here blowing planes up out the sky. I'm like, man, Peggy Carter ain't the one to mess with, brother.
Well, hey, we have a great show in store for you today. Speaking of women in ministry, Jackie Hill Perry joins us later. She has an upcoming book called Holier Than Thou. We talk about that. She gives us some wisdom on how God's holiness is powerful and life-changing for each of us. It's good stuff. Don't miss it. Also, like I mentioned at the beginning, it's Friday the 13th today, so we're playing a brand new game called Dumb Luck. It's going to be interesting. And one of our newest staff members, Emily Brown, downtown Emily Brown, is joining us. So you'll get to meet her a little bit. That'll be fun. And also, we have Slices and relevant news. Stay tuned. Up next, it's Slices. You're listening to Jungle. The song is All of the Time. Well, today's show is brought to you by WeShare. I know we're all tired of rising costs of healthcare, and that's why we're so happy to share a little bit about WeShare. WeShare is a health sharing program powered by UHSM, a Christian health sharing ministry. Health sharing is not insurance. These programs are member-based fellowships where faithful people exercise their right to take charge of their own healthcare. Learn more about how WeShare is restoring faith in healthcare at weshare.org. Great stuff. Seriously, go check it out. All right, it's time for
Slices.
All right, what do you have, Jesse?
You guys know me, like, I kind of have a conflicted relationship with creative marketing in the internet era. Like, I think it's funny when Steakums goes on Twitter and just to set the world right with thoughtful ideas about, some social issue, or like back in the day when Chili's, developed this strange relationship with the Relevant Podcast, particular our former illustrious producer, Chandler, and sent us a jacket. You know, brands are trying to reach out to people on the internet in ways that'll kind of cut through the noise. Mm-hmm. The recent example that we talked about on here was that promotion where I believe it was JetBlue was trying to get people comfortable traveling again, coming out of the pandemic. And we're sending disembodied, molded hands of Joe Jonas to random people that they could hold as they walk through the airport. The only guy that seems to have received one was a dude who never ordered it and was very concerned when Joe Jonas, like four disembodied Joe Jonas hands showed up to his house without explanation. It's like, I get that this brings attention to brands, but is this the kind of attention you want? Well, I think the creepy, I didn't think it was going to get more creepier than the Joe Jonas disembodied hands, but this week, Little Caesars, I kind of feel like they crossed the line.
I think it's Little Caesars, like Lil Wayne. Little Caesars.
Little Caesar. Yeah. Little Caesar would actually be a cool name for an artist. Little Caesar. Especially if he was Greek. Is that fine? I guess. I don't know. So Little Caesars, this to me crossed the line because what transpired was a few weeks ago, they put out like sort of just a random trivia question on Twitter. And they said that, hey, the person that gets it right will get something from us, from our brand. So a Twitter user who also happens to be sort of a TikTok, a minor TikTok influencer. I don't even know what's a good metric for, TikTok views, but, his videos have, 12,000 views of him doing fun dances. He goes by Wes the Ghost on TikTok. He happened to get the trivia question right. And he sent them a DM and said, hey, how can I claim my prize? They said, send us your mailing address and you'll get something in the mail soon. A couple weeks go by, he doesn't hear anything. Then people start sending him a notification and letting him know that Little Caesar seems to have unfollowed everyone on TikTok except for him. And so it appears that Little Caesars is for some reason stalking this guy who, answered this trivia question right. Well, Little Caesars finally answered him back in his DMs and said, "Hey, we're going to send you something in the mail. We're your biggest fan." He gets a box in the mail. Does anyone want to? So that's the setup. Okay. Does anyone want to guess what Little Caesar sent him in a box in the mail?
A pizza.
You would think that would be
I was going to guess or merch,
$100,000 in a briefcase.
Any of those would have been, great, and probably the kind of PR any brand would want.
Sure.
Instead, he receives a box, and like Chandler opening his chili bomber jacket back in the day,
right?
That
And
skillet
don't
queso
forget his
streetwear.
free year of eating at Chili's card.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So much like that unboxing, this guy opens it and he notices a strange note in there, and it's from Little Caesars. It's on like real Little Caesars printed stuff, and it talks about how much they appreciate him, and said, "Hey, there's a T-shirt in here promoting our new stuffed crust pizza. We really want people to dig stuffed crust pizza." And it says, "We also stuffed a life-size doll that looks exactly like you in honor of our stuffed crust pizza. P.S. Did we get the face right?" He opens the box. There is a life-size doll of him wearing a Little Caesars T-shirt.
Oh, no.
I mean, it is his body and his face stuffed into a box.
Absolutely not.
It is him. It looks like him, but in doll form. Sent by a major corporation. To me, I get the viral marketing thing. We're talking about it right now. Kids are watching it on TikTok. But to me, this crosses a line, even though I appreciate the weirdness.
Yeah.
That
would
I have to look this up.
Out.
I'm looking at it right now. That's unreal. Why? Who there thought this is a good idea? That's
the number of yeses,
Because
the number of yeses that had to go through, the number of like board meetings where they had other ideas on the whiteboard scratched out. Like, no, that doesn't work. We can't. That's not the Little Caesars way.
Hey,
and then
how
they
about I
finally
just
landed on this
terrify
one.
this guy?
I'll say this. It certainly doesn't make me want to order a stuffed crust pizza from Little Caesars. All this does is it makes me realize Little Caesars is still around. I wasn't even aware Little Caesars was still in business. I thought they went out of business when the square pizza thing went away years ago. But apparently they're still. Hey, apparently they're still around and seem to not be doing great because they got a lunatic running the show over there right now. At least their marketing department.
Yo, why did they do this? I'm looking at it. They are tripping.
Do you think this was one of those things where they had a different idea, but one guy just really, really believed in the doll thing and went rogue? He's like, better to ask forgiveness than permission. I'm just going to go for it. This is going to be big.
It's two guys in the market, or two people in the marketing department. One of them's like, here's my marketing campaign. He's like, we'll rebrand the mascot, the Little Caesar guy with the spear. We'll bring him to life for a new generation of Little Caesars fan. And like, Phil, what do you got? He's like, I was thinking we could stalk somebody on Twitter and stuff a doll that looks like them in a box and send them to their house. They're like, we're going with Phil's idea. This is
to be honest, Jesse, this doesn't sound like the marketing department at all. This sounds like the marketing department had a crazy rollout. They had it on a PowerPoint presentation and all that. And the owner came in and said, you know what, guys, I feel like we should just make a doll and just stuff him and send it to a fan on what do the kids use? They use TikTok. Send it on TikTok. We're going to send a doll on TikTok that's stuffed up. Stuffed crust, stuffed doll, TikTok. What you think? Well, I don't know, sir. We have this rollout. This. I think this is engaged as well thought out. But the kids like TikTok though. They like TikTok. Do the TikTok thing.
And the CEO just does you keep talking. I like this guy. He thinks big.
or like you're the CEO and your HR person comes up to you one day. You're the CEO of Little Caesars and the HR person's like, sir, I have some uncomfortable news for you. We were doing some background checks and it appears we've hired a legitimate serial killer for the director of marketing. What do you want to do? He's like, I don't know, man. It's really hard to find good people these days. You can't hire anybody right now. I guess we got to keep them around.
Yeah, it's fine. What's the worst he could do?
He's not going to kill anybody.
He's going to just like make make a doll in effigy of one of our users and follow only this one user on TikTok to creep everybody
stuff
out.
it in a tiny box.
And then send him notes. And it's what? What's
Little
wrong with
Caesar's
that?
Gate. That's what we're going to call this when we look up. And somebody's been breathing outside my window at night.
It's just the doll.
Little Caesar's head of
It's
marketing.
the doll. Breathing, though. How's the doll breathing?
Annabelle situation.
The mist.
Yeah.
The mist is on the window.
Why is there a man in a toga standing at the end of my driveway every night? Oh, it's just the new Little Caesars thing. It's okay. It's Little Caesars got a new. Yeah, they got a new Supreme coming out, so they're spreading some buzz. Just
Those
spreading some
90s
buzz.
characters were terrifying.
The
like with
Noid?
pizza. The Noid was the most terrifying thing. They're like, we're bringing the Noid back. I'm like, no.
The whole point was avoid the Noid.
Let that bug
Getting
die.
annoyed.
Those McDonald's characters, Hamburglar, like the
What was Grimace?
Hamburglar.
Like, what was Grimace? Like,
What
it
was
just
Grimace?
Yeah.
Period.
It was
An
just a purple
unholy
thing.
Nothing God made.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that was all.
Even Chuck E. Cheese, we've talked about the animatronics. What was up with that, man? Like,
Yeah.
what the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
All right.
Different time in marketing. Yeah.
Think about it, in the 50s and 60s, every brand had to have a little cartoon mascot and a jingle. I
Yeah.
mean, that's like everybody had to do it. I feel like the 80s was like the end of that era and they didn't know how to transition, or update it or whatever. And I think that's why we got some weird mascot stuff,
Yeah.
thankfully.
It went from the Mad Men era of like jingles to now let's simulate a crime. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, this is getting weird. We're cut off Joe Jonas's hand. I don't know. Let's do it.
All right. What do you have, Derek?
So, obviously, we found a new host for the Jeopardy show.
Yeah.
you know.
Who they end? I
Yeah.
didn't see.
My
Who did
man
they end up
Alex
with?
Trebek, R.I.P. to Alex Trebek, one of the sauciest
The king.
guys, man.
Yeah.
Passed away, so he got some really big shoes to fill, right? So we had Aaron Rodgers was up there, Anderson Cooper, he had a shot. My
Ken
man
Jennings.
LeVar Burton.
Yeah.
We had so many people. My homegirl from Big Bang Theory, and the person who actually won the slot, the coveted Alex Trebek Jeopardy slot, is Mike Richards. So what's the first question? Who is Mike Richards?
Who is Mike Richards?
I don't
It is
know
not
this
Mike
guy.
Richards, the Seinfeld actor. Yeah.
No, it's not him. Who is this guy? So I'm like, okay, this guy must have crushed it. Yeah, he's the executive producer of the show.
Wait a second. Hold on.
Incredible.
Hold on.
I love this.
We're gonna enthrall America with a year of celebrity hosts and just trying to figure out the right one. We're gonna get everybody talking about it, and then I'm going to appoint myself the host of my show.
Yes.
Wow,
Bruh, he did it. This was the most.
We are
This was
pleased
the
to announce-
craziest setup in the world. This is definitely how black people feel when they go to get hired. They like, yo,
oh no,
they just strung all these people in, but we knew exactly who was gonna get the job.
Oh,
and
no.
it was me.
the boss's son.
I'm sorry, Anderson Cooper and Aaron Rodgers, you are now black.
It's a similar situation when the psychopath CEO of Little Caesars installed himself as head of marketing. Like, it was the same energy.
I can't believe that. So he's the executive producer of Jeopardy, and instead of all these potential hosts that everybody's been clamoring for, he just appointed himself.
His amendment was LeVar. Like, LeVar had energy behind him. People wanted LeVar
Yes.
Burr.
And Ken
Yes.
Jennings, the number one winner of all time. Ken was the other one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both of who are like the exec producers, like, I'm just not seeing it, guys. I think you know what we need. We need.
You know what?
This show needs
I'm
my
not
energy.
a behind the scenes guy. I'm an in front of the scenes guy. I'll show you on the biggest stage in game shows.
It reminds me of
I'm
when
kind of behind the scenes, in front of the scenes.
Remember when Dick Cheney was put in charge of figuring out the who should be vice president for George W. Bush, and after a year-long search, picked himself for it?
You know what? That's exactly it.
I do it. If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. That's pretty much what he said.
But isn't the actress, and I don't recall her name, but the actress who was on Big Bang Theory and Blossom, I believe she's
Bialcom or some Bialcom.
I think that's it.
I think they announced after the Mike Richards things, and it got a less than enthusiastic response from Jeopardy fans. I think they announced that she's going to be hosting as well. I don't know if it's going to be two co-hosts at one time or they're alternating. Tyler, did you read that?
So my understanding is that she'll be handling like a primetime spinoff of the show, but Mike Richards is doing the usual daily, the Jeopardy that most of us are familiar with, the daily format
so there is going to be a celebrity version of Jeopardy with her hosting. Yeah.
Which was like conciliatory, I think, on their part, because nobody was happy about when people said Mike Richards. Everybody was like, A, we don't like this guy. B, apparently he has some kind of shady lawsuits in his past, which really puts out a bad message.
He has discrimination lawsuits of hiring people. Like,
but are you serious? Producer says, yeah. But the executive producer stands by the decision. Nevertheless.
Wait. So this executive producer has been sued for discriminatory hiring practices. Went through a whole hiring process for the Jeopardy host and appointed himself the guy, and this is his pattern in his career.
And now has to stand by his selection of himself, despite the outrage that is justifiably coming their way for the.
I'm going to read it. It says, Richards has also faced criticism for his involvement in past employment discrimination lawsuits involving women who worked for The Price is Right during his tenure as executive producer there.
Wow.
Well, there's nothing weird about that. Definitely not a hot button issue that could get people really, really riled up on the internet these days.
Goodness gracious.
Look, everybody ain't able. That's all I'm going to say. Everybody ain't able.
I can't believe he's been a behind the scenes guy at Price is Right for 10 years and however many years at Jeopardy. And he was just like, you know what? I deserve to be a very famous host.
It's my turn now, baby.
Even though I don't do that and I've never done that, but I am the best option possible.
It's similar
the hubris. Think of the ego.
Hey, it's similar to the 90s baseball film Rookie of the Year, when a young child inherits the Chicago Cubs and immediately installs himself as manager. Like it's shoot your shot, I guess.
I guess. If the door's open, walk through it, I mean.
Yeah. I mean,
nobody can tell him no, apparently.
It should have been LeVar.
He's executive producer.
Should have been LeVar.
I mean, even at least for
without question.
At least for the primetime stuff. I mean.
Yeah. See, I kind of I even like the rotating thing. I thought it was fun to a couple weeks of this person, like they could got a lot of people in the rotation that would have been fun to watch. Part of it just as the novelty of, I wonder how this person's going to handle hosting Jeopardy, but it is what it is.
Well, at the end of the day, we get to see what executives do when they're on camera now. So that's great. All right. What do you have, Tyler?
All right, so this is I feel like maybe once a year, twice a year, you hear one of these stories about an asteroid in space, and it's coming for Earth, and it's going to miss us by they say like a really short amount, like it's going to narrowly miss us, and then you read it and it's like by 500 million miles,
6,000 miles.
That short. That seems relatively safe or whatever. Like so you kind of, that becomes white noise after a while. People make some jokes about it on the internet, and then you move on, and that's that. However, we got a little bit of a different story this time around. There is a new asteroid. This asteroid is called Bennu. It's about the size of the Empire State Building. And this one is actually, scientists aren't too sure about how close this one is going to land. Now, we're not in trouble because it's like 100 years out. It's like a century away. Okay. But the odds of it actually hitting us are a little bit bigger and it's a little bit fuzzy right now exactly how close it's actually going to be, or if it could be on a trajectory with us. So at some point between around 2200, 2300, this asteroid, scientists say, could be pulled into Earth's gravitational field, and it could then become a real problem for, our grandkids or great grandkids or whoever's in charge of what remains of our very hot planet at that point.
That's what I was going to say. If global warming doesn't take it out first.
They'll be so busy worried about the oceans and the ice caps that now there's an asteroid headed their way as well. The exact distance becomes crucial around 2135 because Earth's gravity will slingshot Bennu as it passes. So it'll, no matter, even if it's only getting kind of close, our gravitational pull might yank it out of its orbit and onto Earth at that point. And it'll be on a trajectory that could intersect with us then about 50 years after that. The most worrisome day, according to the New York Times, September 24th, 2182, when it has almost...
Man, I got a vacation plan. Me and Cameron were going to Summer League that week. September 24th, darn it!
By that time, SpaceX will be up.
Yeah.
Or,
Elon
worst case
Jr.
scenario, we'll just do like we always do with everything. We'll just shoot it or something.
What was that movie where we shot a rocket with Ben Affleck and Bruce Willis up to land on one? Armageddon. We'll just do that.
Yeah, I think that's the move. That's what I was going to ask.
You go up for your 4-hour space tour, and then you just flick an asteroid so it gets off course. It's fine.
In Armageddon, they had this trained astronauts, and then they brought in Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis said, no trained astronauts on my flight. We're going up there with my oil buddies. They're the only ones I trust to figure out how to do that. And then they landed on the rock, and they had to drill, down 80 feet to drop a nuke in there and blow it up before. And I don't know if Michael Bay consulted NASA before coming up with this plan, but I want to say, from my perspective, pretty good plan. It worked out really well for them.
We'll have starships by then, man. We just gonna phaser them joints. You know what I mean? Like it'll be all right.
like a disintegration situation.
Didn't you see the video game Asteroids where you fly a ship up, you shoot little things at it, and it explodes and goes away?
We're gonna do that.
Done.
We're gonna do that.
Easy.
Let's just cancel it. We can cancel it. Just
cancel
that. Can't just pretend that the asteroid says something we didn't like. We'll just cancel it. It doesn't exist anymore.
The meteor said all lives matter. I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard that asteroid said all lives matter. It's time to cancel that.
I'm not down with that.
I do feel like movies have conditioned us to just be like, there's some catastrophes we don't got to worry about. You'll figure it out. Like asteroids, like no big deal. I've seen this in movies like 5 times. It's no sweat.
Right.
They figured it out. Every time. It was a great movie. And Aerosmith wrote a real banger for it. So bring it on, Asteroid. It was fine in the movie. Or like zombies. That's like, most of humanity, but the cool people, they're just fine. They started a new civilization. We've just been conditioned not to worry about stuff.
We ain't figured the zombie one out yet. The zombie movies never end well. Like it's always like, is you by yourself?
I've never really seen one. Have they ever had a situation where all the zombies were eliminated and life went back to normal?
Never.
I think so. I think it's always like the good guys kind of figure out how to get by. Like they figure out but it's never
there's still zombies out there.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, every time I watch a zombie movie, I'm like, there's no way I'm getting eaten by a zombie. I'm not going to be zombified. I will lead the outposts of humanity or whatever, Right. When I watch those movies, I just never am like, I'm the guy that's going to be mauled by a horde of zombies.
I don't know. World War Z, I felt that way until I saw World War Z. And then I was like, oh yeah, there's no way anybody would survive this. This is impossible to survive.
World War Z had fast zombies though, and that's a problem. If the zombies are like slouching towards you, I feel pretty good about I have times to figure something out. But fast zombies in World War Z, man, that's a
them crackhead zombies in World War Z, bro. Them jumps was like,
See, maybe I just have irrational confidence, but I feel like there's no way I'm not outrunning a zombie horde. I don't care how fast they are. And, I've seen the movies, there's one good guy with like a nunchuck or a broomstick. He'd clear a whole room of zombies. No problem if he knows what he's doing. Okay. We all seen it. I'll be that guy. That's the only character I can relate to in those films. I'm sorry.
Where do you go? Do you hide out in do you hole up in a grocery store, so you got access to food. You got like 2 big entrances that you can keep an eye on. You don't have to worry about checking all the other exits all the time.
The glass. You got to deal with the
it's a
glass.
lot of glass. Yeah.
Just, no one thinks of this in the zombies movies. Look, humanity's burning. It's a free for all. You just take a sweet yacht, go park it about 100 yards offshore, and you're just living yacht life for like a year till the zombies die off. Okay. And meantime, you're just hanging out on the yacht.
Wait, how do zombies die off? Do they eat and stuff?
No, they keep going. Bro, you are going to die on the yacht and be a zombie on the yacht.
And they're not getting out there. I'm gonna be blasting.
No. You're going to starve to death.
Nah, I'm in the ocean. It's full of fish. And I got a refrigerator on the yacht. It'll be great. It'll be great.
There's no water.
Well, the other thing too is, hey, you got to go mega yacht that has the helicopters on it. So then you can have the helicopter to hop out, get some supplies and gas, and come back. And then
it's all salt water. You're going to be a prune.
No. The huge mega yachts can desalinate the salt water. Yeah. So you got unlimited fresh water.
I'm just chilling.
Mega yacht.
Yeah.
You just need fuel and food.
If you can get a big yacht out, if you can get a Jeff Bezos size yacht out there, then I like your odds. But that's a lot. There's a lot
floating
that goes into
island.
That.
Where are you getting the fuel from?
You got the helicopter. If you go get supplies at the Costco, and then you land on the roof of the Costco, you drop in, get what you need,
and that's how you get killed. That's when you get killed.
In life or death situation, you could put me in almost any vehicle, and I feel like I could figure out.
Don't the zombies? I'm again never seen one. Don't they congregate to populous areas because they're looking for people to eat? So go out to the Costco from Montana. There ain't nobody. Those zombies are out there in Montana. They've all gone to the urban centers.
Then you have to look out for the crazy people that are roaming the countryside, because as you learn in every zombie movie, it's humans that are the real monsters.
Some people just can't handle it. They crack. They snap. They become more dangerous than the zombies. And in Montana, you're already close to that in Montana anyway. Like those people are just hoping for a zombie apocalypse to give them a chance.
I'm telling you right now, in the zombie apocalypse, Derek, all that freedom and liberation stuff I was talking about is over. I'm about to go join all of the Make America Great Again people with all the guns. Like, hey.
Wait, do guns work on zombies? Do guns work on zombies? I don't even know.
Headshot. It's got to be a headshot.
Hey, look,
so it's not like a Dracula, you have to do a wooden stake through the heart or anything like that?
You just got to do a headshot. All them boys can shoot.
Remarkably easy to kill.
They've been prepping the whole time. They ain't got no mask. They ain't been vaccinated, so they not zombies.
True.
I'm like, look, guys, hey, look, I know we had a tattered past in the past, but look, bro, I'm here. I can help y'all. Like,
so question. Now they're the undead. Is there a time limit? Is it the actual decomposition that that corpse has experienced? So these are only people that died like in the last year? Because if it's multiple years, it would just be skeletons. Or does it mean all time everybody who's ever died and is in the ground will get reformed into this state?
Nah. Now it just depends on the
you kind of see it both ways.
The version.
Because if it's the former, where it's just recent deaths they still have their flesh on them, then there's a finite number of those zombies out there. And if they die by guns, we outnumber them. And so we can take care of the situation.
It's billions of people though. Like,
but not that it died in the last year.
Tyler, do you have? I know you're a comic book fan, and you're probably more familiar with the source material than the TV adaptation. But in Walking Dead, I mean, that show has been going on for like a decade now, almost.
I think exactly a decade. Yeah.
How do they handle the passage of time when it comes to the zombies start, or do you know? I'm assuming you've read.
I feel like it's kind of loose mechanics in there, but my understanding it's kind of like it's a halfway between what Cameron and Derek are saying here. Like there's enough like raw meat material out there for the zombies to keep infecting that there's constant waves of there's fresh zombie waves coming in all the time because another community will get infected and people are done. As we've seen, you can't really trust humans to act in their own best self-interest during a pandemic, zombie or otherwise. So just because we sitting here rationally can figure out what a best practice would be, that doesn't mean everybody in America, let alone the world, is gonna fall in that same practice. I'm immune to zombies. I'm fine.
Yeah. Well, in Walking Dead, everybody's infected too. So it's not if you get bit. It's just if you die.
It's in the air.
Like if you die, that's what happens. So that's a big issue too.
We're seeing legitimate civil unrest right now over discussions of whether a third grader needs to wear a piece of cloth on their face for 4 hours a day. There's no way we're handling the zombie apocalypse well.
Oh, yeah,
it's taken a very minor thing to watch social order just dissolve in front of us.
Lord of the Flies. That's what it is. Lord of the Flies.
Humans, the real monsters. Remember. Remember.
All right, that'll do it for Slices. Stay tuned. Up next, Jackie Hill Perry joins us.
Just gotta keep coming back for more and more. Just gotta keep on track, keep coming back for more and more.
You're listening to Parcels. The song is Coming Back. Well, our guest today is Jackie Hill Perry. She's a best-selling author, poet, speaker, and teacher. She and her husband, Preston, co-host a podcast where they discuss all areas of life. Jackie has a new book coming out on Tuesday titled Holier Than Thou, which explores the importance and power of God's holiness. She sat down with our very own Emily Brown, who we mentioned earlier, to discuss how our understanding of holiness impacts our view of God in addition to our walk with Him. Here's our conversation with Jackie Hill Perry.
I'm always very interested in all things God. Not to say that I'm super spiritual, but more so just really trying to understand the ins and outs of His nature. And holiness has always been kind of lofty, but also I think discouraging at times, because it felt like a lot of the books I read about holiness just centered on sin so much, where I walked away, I guess, less inspired to pursue God and more introspective of how much I've failed. And so I just wondered, man, I think holiness is bigger than this, and I think it's more beautiful than this. And so let me explore how God's holiness is an incentive for me to trust Him more. And I felt like that was just a different angle than what I've read before. So that's what happened.
Yeah, I feel like holiness it's one of those big words that we use, but we don't always think about what it means.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you, in your own words, how do you describe holiness?
Yeah, well, it really just means separate, set apart. And God as holy means He is separated from us in the sense that He is different and unique because He exists differently from us. Like, for example, everybody that exists was created. God wasn't, so automatically He's just completely different. All of us are dependent. God isn't. He doesn't need anyone but Himself to be Himself. And so that's what sets Him apart. But what also sets Him apart is His moral righteousness, his moral purity. It's that He cannot sin, will not sin, cannot look upon evil. Of Jesus, it was said that there was no sin found in Him, no deceit in His mouth. And so holiness is just being separated from all that is common. We become holy insofar as we become like God. And so I think many of the ways that holiness has been framed, especially those who have a holier than thou posture about themselves, I think they are the ones that have kind of discouraged or limited our view of holiness in more ways than one.
I feel like one thing I hear a lot too is that set apartness that God has. It almost makes Him kind of like unattainable or unreachable because He's so set apart. But then we also look at scripture where it says, draw near to Him and like to go to Him. So, how do you balance holiness with how do you balance having a right view of God with having a right relationship with Him?
Yeah. Because there are two extremes. There's the extreme where God is so transcendent that there is no nearness or intimacy. And I think you can see that in some fundamentalists' relationships with God, where they know all the things, but their faith seems dead. You know, there's no zeal, there's no joy, there's no power in the way they live out their Christian faith, in the way they talk about their relationship with God. But then there are those who become so familiar, he is so close and so near, that they begin to treat him like commonplace, where there's a lack of reverence, right? And so I think to hold the tension is faith. It's to say that, man, God is high and lifted up, but he has also came near to me through Jesus Christ. And so, yeah, that's the thing. Have reverence, but lean into the fact that you're also supposed to have a relationship.
Do you think that there's something within our culture that kind of keeps us from viewing God's holiness like, the rest of history has?
I imagine so. Because I think what it boils down to is distraction and the lack of meditation. Like I remember I was on a panel and a pastor, it was talking about teenagers, but I think this is all of us. And he was saying how most of us go to bed with our phones in our hands, right? And how the last thing before we drift off to sleep that happens is that we have our phones on. And he was like, imagine 20, 30 years ago, in that space, people just had quiet. And so there was room for meditation, and there was room for prayer, and there was room for just contemplation about spiritual things or good things or not so good things, And I think there's something about that where our lack of stillness, I think, affects our ability to think deeply about God and the things of God. And so, yeah, I would imagine that the people that came before us just had more time to think deeply about stuff. And therefore, that's why they produce these works that we are all trying to drink from.
I don't want to give away the book, but, it's about how God's holiness can teach us to trust him more. So in your experience, how has leaning and learning about God's holiness kind of grown your trust in him?
The best way I'll describe it is, as like humans, we really don't trust each other. and rightly so sometimes, because I say in the book how we know ourselves enough to know that because we are sinners, everyone has the potential to hurt us. Everybody. Maliciously or not maliciously. The people we love most hurt us too, right? And so I think the really intriguing and fascinating thing about God is that his motives are always pure. Always. Like everything he does and thinks and speaks and orchestrates comes out of a native goodness. And I think resting in that and believing that has legit transformed my faith, because I just come to God with my guard down more often than not. It's like, man, I can tell you what's happening. I can confess this thing. I can say I'm frustrated. I can or if I go to his scriptures and he says, for example, take up your cross and die, I can trust that it's a wise thing to do. And so I think that's how it's transformed my faith, is that I just really do believe that God has really good and pure intentions towards me. And it's amazing what that'll really do with your intimacy with God when you tap into it.
That was Jackie Hill Perry. Hey, you can hear more of that conversation over at relevantmagazine.com. Don't miss it. Go check it out. Also, make sure to get her new book. It's called Holier Than Thou. Goes out on Tuesday. All right, stay tuned. Up next, it's Relevant News.
But it's a battle inside. I've never felt so far from something in my life. To fall from these heights, I need somewhere to settle down and find my feet. You go from being so entitled.
You're listening to Jelani Aria. The song is From These Heights. Okay, it's time for
Relevant News.
Relevant News is where we tell you what's happening at the intersection of faith and culture each week. Tyler is our senior editor and is covering all that stuff on our site and our socials. What's going on this week, man?
All right, so this was a story that came across that I would love you all's take on, because it brought to mind a few two entities, one of whom I really hadn't thought about very much in a long time, and that entity is somebody I don't like to give a lot of airtime, but we do need to talk for a minute about Westboro Baptist Church, who I'd imagine we're all pretty familiar with.
They're still around.
Church. I mean, yeah, I know. I kind of thought that they had, and I don't think they're around.
Please put church in quotations.
Yeah, they're not the same cultural force they were, like 2011, 2012. I feel like those guys were everywhere, and they were, they would show up at like soldiers' funerals and various generally good things, and they really just like to cause problems with very angry signs about how much God hates America and hates you, and judgment is coming, and it was really just felt like a very performative trolling form of like quote unquote Christianity. I think we're all pretty familiar with them. They really, since their founder Fred Phelps passed away, they have not had the same reach, and I think most news organizations have very wisely, including Relevant, chosen to ignore them for the most part, and that's the best thing you can do. The reason that we are talking about them today is because they evidently are in a long-standing feud with the Foo Fighters. Dave Grohl and the rest of his band, whenever they're in Kansas, Westboro shows up with their signs and they start protesting the Foo Fighters concert. And I don't know what it is, they don't really need a reason, but I don't know what the Foo Fighters exactly do that makes them think that God hates the Foo Fighters, especially, but
rock and roll,
that's
man.
a belief that they have.
Heaven's Gates, Hell's Flames, man.
They rock just a little too hard.
He's got the long hair. Yeah, he rocks a little too hard. He rocks harder than other rock bands. Yeah.
They can't. Yeah, you got to
cut off the head of the snake.
Exactly. Yeah. You got to go for the heart.
We got to have a limit to how hard we're rocking here, okay? We can't just be rocking that hard.
The Bible is very clear. Yeah, the Bible's very clear. Once drums enter the equation, you're already in sin. But
you put a saucy guitar lick.
Yeah, how loud the amps get. Yeah, that's. Yeah.
And Dave Grohl is a drummer by trade. That's his first job was as a rock and roll drummer. So maybe that's why as well. He's like, we can't have a front man who is also a drummer. That's just too much sin for one band. Mm-hmm. So in any case, whatever the reason is, there's been a long-standing feud here. Now, apart from this, the Foo Fighters. And I don't know, Jesse, I know you're a big Dave Grohl fan, so maybe you've been following this a little bit. Do you know that the Foo Fighters have started their own spin-off cover band of the Bee Gees called the DGs? DG for Dave Grohl.
I have not. Do they just perform Bee Gees covers?
It is just Bee Gees covers. They dress up in like Bee Gees, like leisure suits and suit paraphernalia, and they look very different. But they curl the hair kind of like you would in the 70s instead of it just being long rocker hair. And they play Bee Gees songs. And I don't know. I think they do separate tours as the DGs. I don't know if these are as well attended as Foo Fighters concerts, but they've entered kind of the
I would think not.
Who cares stage of their career. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, like the I was once in Nirvana stage of their career. Like, it doesn't matter at this point. I got my cred. Yeah.
Yep. So those are our two players here, and the Foo Fighters showed up. They played a concert in Kansas. Sure enough, Westboro Baptist was on the lawn, ready to protest them. And this time, the DGs decided that they weren't going to take this protest. They weren't going to ignore the protest. They were going to take it sitting down. And in fact, they got out a flatbed truck. They put their full band on the back of it, like you see in the parade. So they're out there playing. They rolled by the the Westboro protest to play a show for them. They played the Bee Gees hit "You Should Be Dancing," and Clark, I think we even have a clip of Dave Grohl's little speech that he gave to Westboro Baptist before they started playing.
Ladies and gentlemen, I got something to say. Because you know what? I love you. I do. The way I look at it is I love everybody. Isn't that what you're supposed to do? Can't you just love everybody? Because I think it's about love. That's what I think. I think we're all about love. And you shouldn't be hating. You know what y'all should be doing? You should be dancing. 1, 2, you know what to do, go on. Oh! Come on, boys.
And you can see him go. You can see him launch in from there.
It is funny how music disarms, weird situations. I remember this guy, it was some, horrible white supremacist march in Charleston, South Carolina a few years ago. And one man with a sousaphone really helped change the tone of that. When he marched behind the KKK, just going womp 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 with a giant sousaphone.
I remember that.
I remember that.
It's like it really changes the dynamic of a hate march at that point. Like the comedy factor is pretty surprising.
Yes, it changes everything.
They're so mad. It's like you're ruining our vibe, man.
Blood and Soil doesn't have the same ferocious power to it when you got that.
Oh my gosh.
That soundtrack to it.
That's so
All
good.
right, calling on musicians. Go mess with trolls.
Yeah, that's not a bad.
I love it.
It's not a bad idea, and it is like Grohl's little message there. Like it's all about love everybody. Like I don't think that's necessarily the like it's maybe a little bit woo woo for like actual theology, but I am impressed with anybody who can stand in front of Westboro Baptist and say I love you while they're saying you should go. Like that takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of character. And you can see if you watch this video, you can see there's a lady with a sign that it says God hates you, and she's trying to like stand firm, but you can see her hips moving a little bit. She can't stop. She can't stop the beat. She can't quite turn it off.
God hates you.
Listen, the Bee Gees are catchy. Okay, the
Yeah,
Bee Gees are catchy.
hard.
It's
The
infectious.
Bee Gees go hard. Yeah.
They go hard.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of Westboro Baptist, Megan Phelps Roper, who was a part of the Westboro cult, who defected years ago, she was recently a guest. There's a really great pod called A Slight Change of Plans with this neuropsychologist, and it talks about the change that she experienced in her life. But it's really interesting, not just from the psychology aspect of the conversation. It's really interesting, but when she talks about what was the impetus for her change and leaving that cult was people, basically showing a degree of graciousness and kindness with her, even when she was only returning it with hate and even when, people, when they would respond to her, it was within good faith and good natured. That's what led to her change, not fighting hate with hate, but, taking this really kind of kind and thoughtful, while still standing firm in your belief approach. That's what led her to change. Tyler, have you interviewed Megan before?
No, we've discussed it a few times, and she's always very responsive. Or back when she first defected and then wrote a book about it, I did reach out a few times, and she was always very pleasant to talk to. But still, ultimately, felt like at that time she did not want to go public with her story.
Yeah,
that's what it was. It was for the magazine, and what it came down to, I remember there's no images. She didn't want to, so we had nothing to show in the magazine.
Yeah,
even if she
and
talked
I think
to us.
she also had some worries about she doesn't want to be known, understandably, as the cult girl forever. That was a very dark part of her life, and something she wants to be associated with.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you do want to hear her, I mean, this is years. I mean, that conversation with her was probably a decade ago almost. But if you want to hear a recent one, where she is kind of opening up about it, just because they're kind of in conversation right now, and honestly, going back to our discussion earlier about just the state of discourse about what kind of conversations and what tone actually can affect change in people. It's not hostility or kind of one-upsmanship. A lot of times it's just thoughtfulness and kindness and giving people a little grace to vent. And, that's what led to some change in her life.
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll do it for Relevant News. For all the latest, follow us every day. We're posting all day long, every day over at relevantmagazine.com. Facebook and Twitter gets all the content. Every once in a while, we post on Instagram as well. Follow us. Okay, stay tuned. Up next, Emily joins us for our new game, Dumb Luck.
Every starry night, show your power in downtown
city light. You were taller than the
You're listening to Lauren Daigle. The song is Tremble, the live version. All right. Well, it's Friday the 13th today. So it's time for the debut of
Dumb luck. Dumb luck.
Dumb Luck, from a little Monster Mash vibe for the very
Clark, is that your voice in there?
Oh yeah,
It is.
that's
Clark
definitely
is the GOAT with these intros.
Clark, can I get a full-fledged Friday the 13th novelty song from you? Like, I can't. That's too short of a clip. I need the whole song.
You need the whole thing? Well, we can play it again. I mean, if y'all want to hear.
yeah. Just put it on loop. Yeah.
Dumb luck. Dumb luck. That joint kind of scary. I ain't gonna even lie. You know what
That's
I'm saying?
Friday the 13th. It's supposed to be.
It
got a
reminds
little
me.
spookiness to it for
Can I be
sure.
honest? What it reminds me of? This is a deep gut reference. When Donald Glover on 30 Rock did the werewolf bar mitzvah song. Do you guys remember that episode?
I do.
And yeah. Oh, and was it Tracy Jordan? Yeah. It definitely throws those vibes. So congratulations, Clark.
Well, a little over 1 in 10 Americans do actually believe that Friday the 13th is either definitely or probably unlucky, with around a third of Americans saying that they're either somewhat or very superstitious. That's why Americans still cross their fingers, knock on wood, and check their horoscopes before going outside. But Americans aren't the only superstitious people out there. There are superstitions from all over the world, followed with varying degrees of seriousness, that people use to keep their good luck meter from running out. So just like in America, most people in these countries don't really believe these superstitions, but some do. And the legacy has lasted long enough that they're often part of the cultural fabric. In the following questions, you will be asked about international superstitions. The person who gets the most correct answers will win 7 years of good luck. That's the game. That's Dumb Luck. Now, joining us to play this game, I mentioned at the beginning of the show, is Relevant's newest staffer, Emily Brown. Downtown Emily Brown. Welcome to the show, Emily.
Hey, glad to be here, guys. Nice to meet everyone.
Going around the horn, you work with me and Tyler every day. But Jesse,
Yes.
Relevant legend. You haven't met Jesse yet, have you?
I've not met Jesse. This is
Great
our
to
first
meet
time
you,
meeting.
Emily. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard.
And
Thank you, thank
Derek
you.
Miner, Grammy-winning artist, producer. He's got a record label, mogul. Derek Miner. Have you ever met Derek?
I actually have met Derek. He's not going to remember this at all, and that's really
no.
okay. So I went to Stephen F. Austin State University in Nacogdoches, Texas, and he was here a couple years ago.
Okay.
Do you remember that, Derek?
Yeah, Nacogdoches. I remember being so scared being in that place. I was like, where am I?
Yeah.
Where is this
Texas.
place?
Deep
I
East
was
Texas.
Yo, for sure. Like the airport was way mad far away. But that show was lit though.
Yeah, it was. It was a good one.
My homegirl Jasmine Stoker, she's from out. She was Jazz. Yeah, that's what's up. Nacogdoches game. We went to Whataburger afterwards. And we got the cheddar. Y'all introduced me to the cheddar butter biscuit. Because I never had, or the honey butter biscuit.
Honey butter
you know
biscuit.
What I'm saying?
Yeah.
Honey butter biscuit.
Honey butter
I had
chicken
never
biscuit.
had it.
That's what it is. Yeah.
That's what we talking about. So
Every time you mention it, it gets better. It's a honey biscuit. And you leveled it up 3 times. It's a honey biscuit. Honey butter chicken.
That's it though. That's where it stops.
And Emily, did you guys meet actually? So it wasn't you weren't just at the show.
So,
you like introduced yourself.
Okay, so we met because I actually gave you coffee, Derek. So I was not at the Whataburger. A lot of my friends went to Whataburger with you, but I gave you coffee at one point. And I actually didn't want to give you coffee.
Because I probably needed it.
Well, so I actually didn't want to give you coffee because it was late and I was an intern for my church. And my pastor came in and was like, hey, I need a cup of coffee. And I was being a little sassy and I said, I really don't want to. Can you just get it somewhere else? He was like, it's actually not for me. It's for Derek. And I was like, well, is he even here right now? And I was kind of fighting it. And then you walked up and you're like, hey, I'm Derek. And I said, oh, hey, here, let me get this cup of coffee for you.
Derek walks in. Hi,
Where
you
was
might
the
recognize
coffee
me.
at? It was
at our church or something. Because I remember being in the church kitchen and you came in there.
Derek walks in. Hello, my name's Grammy-nominated singer Derek Minor. What's a guy got to do to get a cup of coffee around here? Okay.
Yeah. I was tired and wanted to go home, and my pastor was like, you need to get a cup of coffee. I was like, okay.
See, y'all could have just pointed me in the direction of the coffee. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's the thing. It was probably past 6 p.m., which is when everything closes in Nacogdoches because it's such a small town. So
Gotcha.
I was really your only shot at coffee.
Nacogdoches sounds like it could be like a delicious dessert that's served like, around. Like, would you like some Nacogdoches? It sounds like a delightful place.
It definitely should have like some sort of chocolate espresso crema somewhere around there. Like it sounds very, very, very delectable for sure. But it's nothing like that. It's
not.
Literally
Not at
nothing
all.
even close. Like
Yeah.
I was
Tyler-
very scared.
Yeah.
Now that we know that Emily resisted having a servant's heart, but
Okay. It was
ultimately
one time.
did the
It was
right
one
thing
time.
by Derek, we can move on. Play the
Story
game.
of
I don't know what the
redemption.
lesson was. Like, be sassy to your pastor, but then when the guest walks in, snap to attention and be helpful. I don't know what the lesson is.
Me and my pastor are good friends, so it was not mean. He knows my heart. I was just tired.
Your heart is being lazy. Your heart's like, I don't want
Okay,
to.
no.
Damn,
was
hold on. Put a little too much dip on your chip now.
Pastor, I don't have any other way to say this, but if you ask me for a cup of coffee again, I will throw a scalding hot cup right in your face. Now just back up.
We're
fine.
friends.
It's fine.
I can say this.
It's fine.
We're friends. Don't worry about it.
I was an intern. I was tired. I just wanted to go home. I did not want to make a cup of coffee.
Did you
thing I
enjoy the
didn't-
concert, though? Before we move
Yeah.
on, did you enjoy the concert?
Oh, yeah. It was so good. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. The Derek Minor hype lives up. Derek shows do live up to the hype. So, all right. Okay, here's what we're doing. Since Tyler wrote the game and I'm hosting the game, Tyler's going to sit out. It's going to be Jesse, Derek, and Emily all verse each other. Okay.
Do it.
So we got multiple choice questions, which is Tyler's love language. It's multiple choice. And we'll just go around the horn. All right. First up, Jesse, here we go. While birthdays are usually associated with good times and fun memories, in Russia, it's considered bad luck to A, have a birthday on a Friday, B, be friends with someone with the same birthday, C, get a happy early birthday wish, happy early birthday, or D, celebrate your birthday in someone else's home. Which one in Russia is bad luck?
All of this. I hope it's not celebrating someone else's home. That'd be a bummer. I mean, you just have to sit home on your birthday. You can't go anywhere. I would say it seems plausible to me that it would be bad luck for some, to be friends with someone that has your same birthday. That seems like something that could be a thing.
Actually, if somebody wishes you a happy early birthday, it's bad luck in Russia.
Why? That seems like a very nice thing to do. Just get it out of the way early so you don't miss it. That's what I always say.
Hey, Derek, here's yours. You're up. In Mexico, an old superstition says placing two mirrors facing each other may A, reverse time, B, open a doorway to hell, C, awaken love, or D, bring courage.
Oh, it's definitely doorway to hell.
Yep, that is correct in Mexico. If you face two mirrors together, it's going to open a doorway to hell.
For sure.
Probably true.
That's terrifying.
That's not just true in Mexico.
Never tried it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's in the Bible. I think that's
See, here's the problem. Okay, this is the problem with that one, which this is why I would tell y'all that this ain't true. Because I'm bald headed and I shave my own head. And the only way to do it is I have to put one mirror behind me so I can see the back of my head. So I've been having mirrors on mirrors for a couple years. And it ain't opened no doorway to hell yet.
Tempting fate.
Listen, I read the Bible. I know better.
Emily, you're up. Here we go. In Japan, leaving your chopsticks in a bowl of rice is said to bring bad luck because A, the resting chopsticks look like the number 4, which is unlucky in Japan. B, the resting chopsticks look like gravestones symbolizing death. C, the resting chopsticks suggest you won't finish your meal, which is rude. Or D, it's not bad luck to leave your chopsticks in a bowl of rice in Japan.
What is this question?
That's a Tyler question for sure.
My goodness. I've never even thought about where I leave my chapstick.
Well, you don't live in Japan.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Okay, what was the third one?
Third one was the resting chopsticks suggest you won't finish your meal, which is rude.
I don't know why. I feel that one. Let's go with that.
The answer is the resting chopsticks look like the number 4, which is unlucky in Japan. You made a 4 in your bowl, and therefore bad luck. There you go.
Can I just say, when you first read that question, I thought you said your chapstick. And I was like, this is an oddly specific superstition. Like, how often is people just dropping used things of chapsticks into bowls of rice? This is a weirdly specific thing they're concerned about here.
I'm sorry. Enunciation. All right, here we go. Jesse, you're up. In many countries, the gift of a knife or a blade can be said to sever the relationship. However, this curse can be broken if you give the friend a blank in return. So if you give the gift of a knife, it's going to sever your relationship. But if you give the friend a blank, the curse can be broken. Is it a feather, a horseshoe, a stone, or a coin?
Why would you give any of those gifts? I mean, you'd like, hey, buddy, thanks for this great Cutco. I've been using it every night. It's a fantastic blade for my kitchen. I'm sure it costs you a lot of money. I appreciate it. Great early birthday present. Here's a feather. What scenario is this? I mean, I'm just going to go coin here, but none of this makes any sense to me.
Coin is the correct answer. You're on the board. I like it. All right. So right now, Jesse has 1, Derek has 1, Emily has none. Right? Am I correct?
For now.
Yeah. Yeah, for now. Nice.
For now,
all right,
for sure.
Derek, you're up. In the Philippines, you should always make time for a pit stop instead of going immediately back home after a blank. Is it first date, funeral, job interview, or doctor's visit?
Definitely first date.
No, funeral. You have to kind of get the juju off of you.
Get the juju off of you, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
all right.
dark.
Well, it's Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
all right. And,
these are so dark.
And Emily, you're up. Here we go. In Lithuania, it's frowned upon to blank indoors. Frowned upon to blank indoors, since doing so is believed to summon evil spirits. Is it sneeze, cuss, whistle, or snap your fingers? Lithuania.
Gosh, I want it to be snap your fingers because that's just kind of funny. I'm going to go with sneeze because that's like an old...
whistle. The answer is whistle. It's going to like beckon them like a pipe.
Whistling is terrifying though, for sure.
Yeah.
Wait, why is whistling terrifying?
Well, listen,
because every serial killer whistles before he kills people.
Is that a fact?
One night before dinner, it was very late at night, and I heard whistling, and I looked out, and there was a man in a toga at the end of my driveway whistling. And it turns out, Little Caesars was just offering a 2 large for $10 deal that night, so it's not a big deal. Yeah. But it is unsettling to hear in the middle of the night.
For sure, for sure.
All right, Jesse. The Germans
Free
love
cheesy bread.
the Germans love to cheer to your health, but you must never do this, or the cheers is actually a wish of death. Is it?
Oh, wow.
Look the person you're cheersing in the eye, cheers with water, touch your glass to the table after you cheers, but before you drink, or clink the glass before you finish saying cheers, or in German, Prost.
I would say clink the glass because it'd be very weird.
The answer of cheersing not from health, but is a wish of death is cheersing with water. Water.
The Germans love beer. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
You should know that one.
Yeah.
I think Big Beer came up with that superstition. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That feels like a
seems
big beer
fishy.
thing. Yeah.
Natty Light. Natty Light was like,
Natty
look,
Light
we gotta
spreading the
fix
rumors.
this.
Hey, you're at the bar. You're going to kill people if you drink water. You need to order some.
Don't never cheers water. To be safe, don't drink water at all. Just
Natty Light.
Get this good old Natty Light, baby.
Derek, I'll say this though. I don't think anyone's ever poured a Natty Ice into a glass. Like, I don't think anyone's ever cheered that. It only comes in giant tall boy sizes.
That's it. Them natty Ice, boy. I'm telling you, bro. I know some people that be gone off them things, bro.
All right, Derek, you're up. In America, it's bad manners to put your shoes on the table. In Britain, it's bad luck because shoes on the table are an open invitation for demons to start walking in them. B, suggest peasants think they should stand taller than the queen. C, were thought to harbor rats during the Black Plague. Or D, used to be a way to tell a family that a member had passed away.
These are heavy.
It's Friday the 13th.
What you say was the question? Can you repeat the question?
So in America, it's bad manners to put your shoes on the table, but in Britain, it's bad luck to put your shoes on the table because one of those reasons.
I think I'm going to go with D.
that it used to be a way to tell a family member that a member had passed away, or tell a family that a member. That is correct. I don't understand it, but that is correct.
That is savage.
That's a terrifying thing.
Imagine walking down to breakfast and be like, why are grandma's shoes on the table? Please tell me that a demon is in the market.
Why are grandma's
Please
shoes
tell
on
me
the
that a
table?
demon's in the market for new slippers because
That's rough.
Listen,
dog.
she
I
lived
ain't
a
gonna
long
hold
life.
you.
She lived a long life. Now eat your bacon. They're right next to grandma's old slippers.
Maybe it was a way to like lighten the mood a little bit. Like, is it kind of like a funny, like fun way to like, hey, special shoe on the table
She's
day,
dead.
like a way to kind of soften the blow.
For some reason, it seems less sanitary. That like it's a bad idea to put shoes on the table, but like, it's not no big deal. It's a dead person's shoes.
She
We had to
died in
announce
them.
it to the family.
She was wearing his when she died. Let's put him on the table.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Is it the ones they died in, or is it just like any old shoe?
I don't know.
Does it have to
I
be
don't
their
want.
shoe?
I don't want to
Shoes.
alarm in them. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to alarm anyone, but she did die from a lethal foot fungus. So it's But anyway, it's tradition.
An airborne, contagious, lethal foot fungus. All right, Emily, you're up. All right, here we go.
Oh gosh.
Pay attention to which hand is itchy in turkey. Okay, pay attention to which hand is itchy in turkey, because in turkey, A, an itchy right hand means love is near, but an itchy left hand means heartbreak. B, an itchy right hand means you're about to be rich, but an itchy left means financial ruin. C, an itchy right hand means your lifespan is increasing, but an itchy left means it's shortening. Or D, itchy right hand means your guardian angel is happy, but an itchy left means she's upset with you.
I have
turkey.
no idea. I'll go with the finances. Let's go with
An
that
itchy
one.
right hand means you're about to be rich, but an itchy left means financial ruin is correct. That is the actual
Finally.
superstition in Turkey. You are on the board. Welcome.
About time.
In Germany, actually, if you have an itchy right hand and you had touched grandma's slippers that were on the table, you're gonna need to get looked at immetely because it was a rapid dissension for
Britain,
grandma.
by the way.
Whatever she
Britain.
had
Britain.
was if your hand's itchy, I'd get that checked out right
Get
now.
that checked out right now. All right, Jesse, you're up. All right, a few more. Here we go. What's the score now, Clark or Tyler? Help me out. Is it ones all around?
Jesse is 1, Derek is 2, Emily is 1.
Oh, Derek's in the
Derek's
lead.
in the
All
lead.
right, perfect. Round 3. Here we go.
I'm
Jesse,
trying
you're
to get this 7 years of good luck for sure. You know what I'm saying?
up. In France, this action counterintuitively actually means you're coming into good luck. Okay. In France, this action counterintuitively actually means you're coming into good luck. Is it A, stepping in dog poop? B, pass gas in front of your crush? Z, getting a zit on your face? Or tripping over your shoelaces?
I think tripping over the shoelace seems pretty
In
safe.
France, it's stepping in dog poop means good luck is on its way. It's actually like I've heard the superstition in America that if you get pooped on by a bird, good luck is
Yeah.
good things are about to happen.
That's why I go.
So I thought that was bad
In France,
luck.
I go
My
out of my
bad.
way to step in dog poop. You just never know.
Yeah, listen.
I just look around.
I feel like that was someone trying to make lemonade out of lemons. They were like, "Oh, I stepped in dog poop, but it's
Yeah.
good for me."
You stepped in dog poop. He's like, it means good luck. I'm
Yeah.
happy about it.
That's definitely how that happened. For sure.
Listen, I know it was already concerning that grandma's slippers were on the table, but grandma was French and she was a very lucky person. So those things were contaminated. That's what I'm trying to say. Is
I feel like grandma's slippers is going to stick with Jesse for a long time. He's not going to give up on that one.
They're contaminated. She was French.
It's like the song "Grandma's
Was
Hands."
very,
but
she was French and very superstitious and had like 8 dogs. So you do the math on that.
Derek, you're up. Here we go. In Syria, one superstition became so widely believed in 1933 that this toy was actually banned in Syria in the belief that they caused droughts. Okay, there's a superstition that this toy caused droughts. Hula hoops, puppets, yo-yos, or roller skates. 1933.
What was it again?
So
What's
in
the
Syria,
options?
in 1933, the superstition was so widely believed that this toy was actually banned on the belief that it caused droughts in Syria.
Okay.
Hula hoops, puppets, yo-yos, or roller skates.
Hula hoops, puppets, yo-yos, or roller skates. I'm gonna go with yo-yo.
Yo-yos is correct. They banned the yo-yos because the yo-yos clearly caused the droughts that the country was experiencing.
Hey, look, don't ever underestimate growing up around a bunch of Southern superstitious people, brother. It's like a sixth sense to me of how I'm figuring these out. You know what I'm saying? It's calling to me. Feel me?
All right, Emily, you're up. Pay attention to what color of
That's
flower.
just white people ain't never scared of nothing. Black folks scared of everything. Don't be doing that. You don't be scared. White people don't be scared of nothing. Y'all be jumping off buildings, connecting yourself to robots and stuff. You flying in outer space, almost getting to space. Black folks be scared of everything. We scared of heights, dogs. Y'all got all, you know what I'm saying? That's what it is. That's why I'm able to do this. You feel me? On such a high level.
All right. Okay, Emily, pay attention to what color of flower you give in Russia, since a gift of yellow flowers is believed to curse the recipient with A, infidelity, laziness, poverty, or anxiety. If you give somebody yellow flowers in Russia, you're cursing them with one of those four things.
Can you say them again?
Infidelity, laziness, poverty, or anxiety.
Those are just like varying levels of bad things. Like some are clearly worse than the others. I'll go with, you know what? Let's do laziness. Why not?
The answer is infidelity. My question, Tyler, as you research this, was it that the person is cursed to have infidelity happen to them, or that they are cursed to do the infidelity?
I was curious about this too, and actually, it was unclear in what I was reading. So I think I have a theory, and it's similar to Emily's theory about the dog poop situation, which is somebody got caught cheating, and there was an easy way to turn it. Well, you remember those yellow flowers you gave me last week? Maybe if you hadn't done that. That's on you.
So
that's absolutely what happened.
So what we're saying is, if you really want to ruin someone's day in Russia, you go, "Happy early birthday! Here's a yellow flower." Like it's two things, you know.
You're gonna
two
die.
birds, one stone.
All right. Okay. Final round. Here we go. Is it 1-3-1? Is that right?
I think so.
1-3-1.
I got
1-3-1,
bro.
You know what's funny is this last round worth 4 points. 4 points.
But if you don't cut that out,
Ooh.
The stakes could not be higher. 7 years are on the line.
Cameron, stay doing that.
We're gonna have to go out of order because Derek has to go last because we have to see.
Hey, you petty, bro.
No, just this is
run it
bonus
up. Let's
round.
go.
I don't know. It's here in front of me.
Let's
The
go.
executive producer of this game told me that that's what we're doing for the final round.
Stack the odds. I do best with my back against the wall. Let's go.
All right, here we go. Jesse, you're up first. In Italy, one superstition holds, this is for 5, what did I say, 5 points? 4 points?
4.
Enough to win. Enough to win if you get this and Derek doesn't. Here we go. In Italy, one superstition holds that you and a friend will never get married if you blank. Stand in front of a mirror together, wish for love upon the same star, say a word at the same time, or swim in the same lake. In Italy, you and your beloved will never get married if you do one of those things.
I can't believe it's the lake one because there's got to be one summer camp couple that made it, and that would have ruled them out right away. I'm going to say the same word at the same time.
That's right. Say a word at the same time. Jinx is you'll never get married.
Yeah.
So
the stakes are quite a bit higher than if Pam and Jim would have never made it if the office is over there. The stakes over here are just buying a Coke, Buying
a Coke. But that's apparently where our jinx came from. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So right now, Jesse has, if I made that worth 4 points, Jesse has 5, Derek has 3, Emily has 1. So Emily, you're up now. Okay, here we go. In Spain, instead of kissing someone on New Year's Eve, you're supposed to bring in the new year by A, shouting rabbit, rabbit, or white rabbit. B, breaking a mirror. C, holding your breath as long as you can. Or D, eating 12 grapes, one after the other. In Spain. Bringing the new year by doing one of those things.
The grape thing actually sounds like that is something. I'll go with the grape thing. I feel like I've heard that somewhere.
Eating 12 grapes, one after the other is the correct answer. Emily now has 5 points.
Oh, wow.
Man, we got barn burner.
Wow.
Take that, Derek.
Heating up. This is a barn burner.
So, Derek, for the win, here is your question. If you get this wrong, You lose, and we'll do a tiebreaker between Jesse and Emily. All right, here we go. For the win, Derek Miner. In some countries, an awkward pause in conversation actually means one of these things. A, an angel is flying overhead. B, Cupid's arrow has struck. C, someone close to you is in danger. Or D, a deceased loved one is trying to get your attention. Awkward pause in conversation.
I'm going D.
You said a deceased loved one is trying to get your attention. The correct answer is an angel is flying overhead. Derek missed the last one. We are going to a sudden death between Emily and Jesse.
I see how y'all fix the rules. We all know who the real, you know what I'm saying, superstition
The executive producer
expert is.
situation.
But I'm gonna let y'all have y'all little runoff real quick. You feel me?
Listen.
Let y'all have y'all little
all I
runoff.
know is I'm prepping for a great 7 years. That is, thank you, friend. Even if you sandbag that one for me, I appreciate it. Sorry, Emily. This is mine to lose. Yeah.
Okay, so a little behind the scenes, real quick. Clark will stitch this together. You don't even know what just happened. In about 7 minutes, I just went away. Like I was deleted from the show, couldn't get back in. It was bizarre. And the entire time, Derek is saying that God was shutting me down because I silenced the rightful winner of that show.
I rebuke you.
It could also be, but there are two mirrors facing you directly behind your head. And,
I
that could also-
I got sucked into it. All right. So for the Derek is the people's champ, but according to the stated
You already
rules
know.
prior to each question, we did have a value change on the final round.
All right.
It was said ahead of time.
Technically, you won, but we found some other rules to make sure you didn't win. You feel
So I'm
me?
the executive
I'm
producer of the
telling
game.
you.
I'm going to put myself into the game instead.
Mike Richards.
Exactly. All right. Here's the tiebreaker. First one to say the correct answer, you get one guess. Between Emily and Jesse will be the champ. Here we go. In the U.S., some people hold their breath while passing a graveyard. In Japan, it's more common to A, walk on your tiptoes, B, hide your thumbs, C, not blink, or D, bare your teeth.
Is this sorry?
Hide your thumbs.
Let's just go. Whoever says the correct answer first. One guess.
Bare your teeth. Bare your teeth.
She said hide your thumbs, and the answer is correct. Hide your thumbs. Emily wins the tiebreaker.
Unbelievable, Emily. Unbelievable.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm okay with Emily winning. For sure.
I am not. I am not. Yeah.
Another time.
Even with the win, she did not answer as many questions correctly as Derek Miner. Just FYI.
Okay, we don't have to clarify
Hey,
that.
look, I know what y'all trying to do. You know, I feel like, you know, LeBron James, y'all want to, you know, change all the rules and everything.
Emily's the one where LeBron has 68 points in the game. She's been on the bench the whole game. She comes in, happens to hit the last shot, wins with one, but she won the game. Yeah.
But I still won.
But look at but watch God work here. She went from serving Derek coffee to kicking his butt. And look at the rise. The rise.
Derek, sing your song again.
A shooting star.
God is trying to
I'll be honest. I feel like we're all kind of winners here because we've all learned a playful way to let our families know that our grandma has died.
Oh no!
Why are slippers out?
Oh no!
All right, that'll do it for the debut of
Dumb luck. Dumb luck.
I need the full. I need 3.5 minutes.
Yeah,
of dumb luck.
Well, thanks to Jackie Hill Perry for joining us today. Her new book is called Holier Than Thou, and it's available on Tuesday. Go check it out. And you can check out more of that conversation with her over at relevantmagazine.com. Hey, while you're on the site, also click up on the magazine tab. You can read the summer issue of Relevant featuring Yvonne Orji, Dante Bowe, and so many other amazing conversations. It is available for free and ad-free over at relevantmagazine.com. Just click on the magazine tab. Thank you to UHSM, our presenting sponsor. Also, while you're at the site, on the homepage, you can sign up for our daily newsletter bringing you the top 5 trending stories at Relevant every morning. You can sign up right there so you don't miss anything. Well, you'll miss some of the stuff, but not the good stuff. You'll get all the good stuff. Also, while you're at the site, head over to the faith section and check out our daily devotional series, Deeper Walk. It's presented by Lumo. We have a new devotional every weekday morning, and you can sign up for the email so it's sent right to your inbox, or you can check out the Deeper Walk daily podcast over at any platform where you get your shows. So Deeper Walk podcast, email at the site. Go check it out. It's a great way to start your day. On that note, we'll wrap it up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Derek Miner, and I'm having a pop-up in Nashville for Hello Marshmallow.
When?
From 11 to 4.
When? Details.
August 15th, Sunday. August 15th. If you're in Nashville, from 11 to 4. We got gumbo. We got vegan gumbo. We got hot chicken, we got hot cauliflower, we got beignets, we got cupcakes, and it's really, really hard for me to do this little challenge that me and Cameron are on.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm abstaining, Cameron. What about you?
I'm on it. Yeah. I'm doing good. I'll call you.
Where was the pause? Did an angel fly over or something? Or
no,
have you been eating bread?
Hold on. No, this is for real. And in counseling this week, my counselor was telling me, like, you have this thing where you're all in or all out. You burn too hot, you burn out, and then you don't sustain it. She's like, if this shift is important to you, you need to not go crazy. You need to actually build it in that it's a sustainable level. So she has me working out 4 days a week, not 7. And she added journaling to mine and stuff. So I have done everything according to our challenge, except I haven't worked out 7 days a week. I've been doing 4. So
okay, I've been doing 5. I've been doing 5.
Okay,
so
there you go.
Okay,
that was my pause. I didn't want to be like, yeah, I'm doing it, when actually the truth is.
Okay, so, you know what I'm saying? Okay.
Anyway, I'm proud of you, man. It's challenging, man. It's hard. I mean, it is. There's days I don't feel like it.
I just ate a sandwich made out of lettuce. So that's where we at.
Hey, you know? Veggie burgers with lettuce is the wrap. I had it last night. Dude, this no bread thing. Come on, man. All right.
But Hello Marshmallow.
Yeah.
Sunday, August 15th,
join us for our
11 to 4.
Don't
join me for my challenge. Come get some of this gluten and some of the gluten-free stuff too. You feel me?
There you go.
I'll be there. And I'll be there. Come on down. Come on down. If you're in Nashville, say hi.
Tyler gonna be there. If you're in Nashville, come pull up on us.
Last time he had a pop-up, he had celebrities like Prop was there, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jamie Ivey came through. This pop-up, you get Tyler Huckabee.
Hey, pull up on us. It's going to be good. It's going to be good, bro.
I was trying to like banter, and then it came out. It just sounded really mean. I'm really sorry, man. I didn't mean to say that. It's a little mean.
People are on the fence.
I thought we were going to jump.
I'm waiting for the prop one.
I'm sorry. I did not mean to do that.
I'll wait for the propaganda one again. That one sounded fun.
All right, Tyler, say goodbye.
I'm Tyler Huckabee.
And there's Emily.
The winner.
I'm Emily Brown.
Downtown Emily Brown. All right, we'll see you guys next Friday. Hopefully Friday the 13th. You survive it. Zombie apocalypse. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine. A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
Why are grandma's shoes on the table?
Relevant Podcast Network.